So, have you ever heard the question, what would you tell your 21-year-old self? We hear this a lot in the self improvement industry. I thought I would talk to you guys today about what I would say to my 21-year-old self. I think the first thing I would say is you're probably more courageous than you think. My motto when I came out of high school was, I won't regret anything. And honestly, I really have very few regrets in my life. As I've learned later in life, and you can learn now if you pay attention to this, is that everything that happens leads to something else. Everything that happens leads you to a choice. And the choice might be, I feel terrible about that. The choice might be, it's all their fault. The choice might be, what can I learn from this? That's the best part. That's the best thing to learn. What can I learn from the situation? Where this comes up a lot for me through life is that when I would have a dispute or a misunderstanding with either a friend or a family member or a boss, my old go-to was, what did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? Why don't they like me? Why did they treat me this way? And those answers didn't get me much. What does get me more today is to say, what's actually going on here? Is this about them or is this about me? 99% of the time it's about us because we feel like we've done something wrong rather than say, maybe this isn't about me. Maybe this is about this other person and what they're going through and what their belief system is. And I've gotten into the habit of doing this. It's kind of funny. I use it a lot. For instance, if I'm really not feeling good about a person, I will ask myself, what is this about to me? Why don't I like this person? What is it about her or him makes me so uncomfortable? Next question will be, what do I want to do about that? Do I want to say something to them? Do I want to not say something to them? Do I want to get in the habit of not spending time with them? And most importantly, don't put any energy into them. Because sometimes we just don't get along with people. Sometimes we don't have the same values. Here's another one. There are times when it's just safer for ourselves to let people go. And that can be incredibly difficult with family, but not so difficult with friends. When you find people who maybe even work friends and you get out into the real world and you spend time with them and suddenly it's like, wow, we don't have the same values. We don't see the world the same way. I personally don't want to argue their view of it or my view of it. I want to just accept that we are not the same, and that is the gift of living in America, is that you can not be the same and yet live in the same space. This has been one thing I've learned later in life is that sometimes you just don't get to agree. Sometimes you don't get to understand, not understanding why people did the things they did or what they said. Some days, sometimes you don't get to understand why things are the way they are or why people are the way they are or why people say the things that they say. Sometimes you don't get to understand, and it's okay. You just have to go, today I just don't get to understand that, and I'm not going to make it a big issue for myself. Because in the past, I would have made it a big issue and said, oh my God, how did this person say that to me? And what's wrong with them? And all that did was just create negative feelings in me. Today, I don't want that negative stuff in my life. When I feel it, I examine it. I don't go with it and follow it through and I'm going to be pissy all day because so-and-so said this to me or so-and-so did that. I will look at it and say, what is going on for me? And then choose. I choose. You can choose to be happy or you can choose to be miserable. It's your choice. Just pick. If you choose to be miserable, then understand why you're miserable. Is it because of how you feel? Is it how you think? How they think? If you choose to be happy, that means what they think and feel is none of my business. What other people think about you is none of your business. It's hard to understand that, but really put your mind around it. Because if you make it your business, it becomes part of your reality. And that gives them validation and power over you, even though they don't even know it. You give them the power by saying, oh, she said I was a a bad person, and I hate her for that. But what you're really thinking is it true? Am I a bad person? And if you know you're not, which most of us are not, why would you give it any value? That is what I would tell my young self. Love you dearly. If this video resonated with you, like, comment, and share. If you have something that you have learned over time that might help others to have a better life, please share below.